Welcome to the ESL Challenger League for Season 49 playoffs here in North America. We are diving into the thick of things with our upper bracket matchup between NRG and Nouns. I'm Darth Mike. This is JRT. John, how do you feel about this particular matchup?
Well, it's a curious one, Mike, because obviously Nouns are, they're playing with Peeping and Momo right now, who won't be part of the roster anymore, and they won't even be known as Nouns anymore after this season, right? They're going to be called Moneyball, and then they're going to have Magi, also known as Dottie, joining the roster, and Gnomes as well, both Swedish imports going to be coming to join that Moneyball roster. So, I mean, what we're seeing here won't necessarily be what will happen in the future, but they're still, they're doing pretty well for themselves, I would say, throughout these playoffs. And NRG, well, they're NRG, right? They've had their inconsistent moments. They've lost a map in each series they've played, but they always find a way to come out with the win in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing as well was that there was a kind of a clearer path for Nouns through this upper bracket, almost a surprising one in terms of who wound up going into those high seed spots. We had Vagrants in the first round. The second round was looking for Org Team that have now forfeited their matchup tonight. So we won't get into that too much because John will blow a gasket. But it was a surprising announcement, to be clear. That's why you see the result already at the bottom of the screen. They couldn't field a roster, apparently, for ECL playoffs. Make of that what you will. But it does mean that the Blue Jays already advance on. Getting Info Legacy are playing over on the B stream, and NRG Nouns up top here as we're coming to the close. We're whittling this down to just 4 teams now tonight. So we are getting very close to sending a team through to the ESL Pro League, that big prize at the end.
Yeah, no, and that's going to be exciting to see who ends up getting that spot, right? And I think that NRG has done it in the past. I feel like they're the favorites to do it again here, but, there's still a chance for the other ones to come into the mix. And of course, Blue Jays will be facing off against either Legacy or Getting Info. I'm very curious to see who's going to win that one. Legacy have had their struggles lately, but they seem to be cruising along in lower bracket. Getting Info looked good yesterday. They looked good, Mike, and they almost pulled off the win against NRG, but they fell short right at the finish line. And kind of, I don't want to say they collapsed because it looked like NRG were the ones collapsing on Anubis, but in the end, it was NRG to come out with a ridiculous CT side, and the map ended up being CT side last night. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up finding the spot 1 in the grand final and 2 getting to Pro League.
Yes, it will indeed. I mean, that Pro League opportunity for NRG last season was a huge leg up for them, gave them some chances against tougher competition, gave them their first opportunity at an EU boot camp, and for any of the 4 teams that are remaining, it'd provide a similar list. Well, actually, for the 5 teams remaining right now, we still have Getting Info Legacy to square off as well. It'd be a huge lift getting that opportunity to lock in a LAN on the other side of the player break here. We got our veto train coming in for NRG, as Nouns have opted to veto Inferno. They pretty much had their choice between those two, knowing NRG would go the other way. Mirage comes through for Nouns, and then Nuke as a decider. I'm very curious to see what Nouns have on Train, because we know that NRG are very comfortable and competent on this map. They've been playing it against everyone that'll let them pick it. That was actually a big feature of their ESL Pro League campaign, and it hasn't exited their map pool since.
Yeah, no, it's been a phenomenal map for them. And they actually did play Nouns recently, Mike, on it in the NA PrizePicks NA Revival Series number 6. Won at 13-8. Similar veto, actually. The second map, the second map was Train in that instance. The first map was Mirage, and NRG took both the Mirage with a 13-9 win. And actually, I think Mirage could be more of the question mark, right, for NRG, because we've seen them over the last 2 nights lose it twice, both times in each BO3. So that's one that could get interesting. And then if we get to Nuke, I still feel like I'd lean in the direction of NRG. So yeah, it's an NRG leaning veto here, but there's still that question mark on Mirage where Nouns could make something happen.
You can imagine, I mean, if they could show a better face on Mirage, it would really give us a lot more confidence in their map pool, headed not just deeper into this bracket, but also in towards the major as well. So I'm sure that's something that they're going to be working to improve upon, because there are plenty of teams that will be all too happy to punish Pickett if there are vulnerabilities therein. But yeah, I mean, the context of this roster, you set it up nicely here, John. For Nouns, it's a roster in flux, unclear how much practice or prep there is with this 5, since this 5 is not likely to continue, and or almost definitely not going to continue, which just leaves a lot of question marks as to what exactly this looks like, how much they're prepared to handle this, how much they're just kind of making it up on the fly. And on a map like Train, that is very tough to handle.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've been playing with Peeping long enough that it should be fine with him. But Momo's just a sub coming into the roster to try and support them here throughout these playoffs in place of Rush. And I honestly, yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I don't know what could really happen here, what kind of prep they're going to bring into it. I feel like it'll just be them kind of trying their best to come out with a win and working together as much as possible based on previous strats, but I'm not even sure that this 5 anyway is actively practicing together anymore. I'm pretty sure they're focused more on Nomas and Magi and bringing them into the roster and getting reps with them than this iteration of the rosters, which is now in the past technically.
In the past, in the present, in the future, it's all to say. It is a shame, right? We were very excited for this Nouns project at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It felt like it was potentially going to be their most fruitful roster yet, and then the funding from the DAO collapsed. And as that faded away with the failed major campaign, they managed to get together a contingent of support from the Nouns camp. That went away after the lack of the major, which led to Adren and Rush leaving the project. And so it just never really got to see what this team would actually look like. And that is a sad thing.
Yeah, it really is, honestly. I mean, there's one happy thing that comes out of it is that Junior is now a sub for the major for Complexity if they need him. So that's really awesome for Junior, I think, to go back to Complexity, get another shot there. But looking purely at Nouns, it's a shame. I'm honestly really disappointed that things didn't come through for the organization. I think the logo's cool. I think the whole concept is cool. So for that to fall through is unfortunate, let's say, but we'll see. Look, maybe from the ashes something better will rise, I guess is my point. And that one thing has happened. It's Junior getting a shot again at an S tier event.
Not just an S tier event, the major.
Yeah,
the biggest, the Sest of S tier events.
Yes, sir.
Certainly going to be a fun opportunity for Junior. He was in those Complexity colors before, so there's some familiarity between him and the squad, which does make him an able substitute. And it'll be interesting to see as well, right, if playing kind of with there's sort of different mentalities to you could approach it, either no pressure or all the pressure. But if he approaches it with the no pressure mentality of like, hey, weird circumstance that I'm here, might as well ball out, I think Junior could strut his stuff quite a bit in the server.
I think so too. I think that Junior is always a player that's impressed me. I know he's had his struggles in the past, and we think back to Furia, of course, but for me, that's no longer relevant anymore. I think he's already grown as a player. He's had this chance to really spread his wings again in ECL and show what he's capable of as an opper, and I think that will translate over well into the major. It's just exciting, honestly, and of course, I think he'll get a sticker as well, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, so that's actually really cool. We'll have a Junior sticker.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, no?
Not generally how that works. When you register a player as a sub, the players on the main roster get the stickers, and the substitute does not get a sticker.
I thought the sub got a sticker too.
No, okay. No. Generally speaking, that's been how that's worked out in the past. Far be it from Valve not to change things.
Maybe it'll change.
That is not how that has happened, and I don't think it will, based on the rules that are available.
Fair enough. But either way, it'll be cool to see him there. I think it's really awesome that he'll get that chance.
Presumably. Barring a freak change in Halzer's visa situation.
Yes, which seems unlikely given the current situation in the U.S. We won't get into that.
Seems like we've got a little bit of time here, folks. We've got to pause on this match before it goes live. Let me just take a little gander in, see if we know why. Should be going live shortly, apparently. Yeah. Do we want to try and use the old trick, John? Or do we want to stay live here?
You know what? Let's try it. Sometimes it works really quickly.
So here's how it works, folks. I'm going to throw it to break, and hopefully that's going to cause whatever attack pause to end. So we're going to... Oh, I've just been informed. I just had to say the words. I just had to say the word. Game's live. Let's go into the server. It always works. It always works, folks.
It does. We don't even have to do it anymore. Just the thought of it happening causes the server to go live. So there we go. Into the action here. Nouns Esports versus NRG. This is for a spot in the grand final. Both teams will still have another crack at it if they should lose. And Cryptic is going to get the opener onto Bro and Hex, and Junior drops two as well. And it's all Junior and Cryptic in the round, Mike, over before we could even have a chance to talk about it.
Lethal in the pistol, all headshots. USP's just chewing them up. That's how you want to get started here if you're Nouns. Not even a thought of a bomb plant on that other side. How are they going to get this one done? Classic move here would be the interplay. Just waterfall and try and plant that bomb as quickly as possible. Not a whole lot else you can do. Absolutely zero investment. First player was very far ahead of the rest. That was George. He's gone. OC follows. And now, whatever path there were towards a bomb plant, they are slim to about none.
Yeah, this is over. Not a single casualty yet in the first 2 rounds for Nouns. That's a good sign. And like I was alluding to before, Peeping, he's a very solid player. So I think that regardless of practicing with the team or not, he's going to be successful in his contributions here. It's just a matter of how successful. Can they oust NRG out of the upper bracket? That would be something else to achieve. Anyway, talking about more of the stats here on Train over the last month, NRG have played it 6 times and only lost once. That was to NIP at Philadelphia, Las Vegas 2025, and that was in triple overtime, 18-22. Other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing. Nouns actually were challenging them quite a bit in the major qualifiers. That was a 13-11 win for NRG there, and then we already talked about the 13. Cryptic's going to get another 2 with the MP9, but finally, the first 2 frags and 3 frags of the map go to OC.
Stacking him up for the team. Putting the team on his back, though. He's going to be able to get this bomb planted on down. Hexed in T-Con. Does mean the Junior's very far away from this. He's going to have to make a lot of noise. To the end of the realm of possibility here. Momo's the one with the kit. Junior does not have it. Flashbang over to maintain focus here, but it is just Junior showing all this face. No one's looking. Oh, Momo. Momo might have a back turn on this first player. Back oil. Yes, he does indeed. And now Bro's out of position to deny this defuse. Very awkward. Junior drew so much attention that there was just nothing that they could do. NRG were so out of position to defend this bomb, so Junior didn't even fire that many shots, but he was the key piece to set up this retake.
Wow, yeah, great work from Junior, honestly, to help support that push on the flank by Momo, and then Momo just defuses his bomb. He does end up going down at the end, but still, absolutely fantastic from Nouns, and a round that looked like it was tilting in NRG's favor. Okay, well, this is a little bit of a shaky start for NRG on a map that they're exceptionally comfortable on. Nouns, perhaps having faced them twice already over the last month, say, okay, we know what your game is here. We know what you guys are up to. And they found an answer, at least for the first 3. It's still exceptionally early, of course. NRG are right back to the rifles here. 3 rifles and 2 Galils. Speaking of Train for Nouns, they've played it 5 times over the last month, and they've lost 3 times, won twice. Their wins were against Marsborn and looking for Org. Their losses were to NRG twice and Marsborn as well. So Peeping is going to get that frag onto Hex. I mean, all of that doesn't really matter, though, because we're in the playoffs here for a chance at the grand finals, and Nouns are firing away and looking strong.
They are
indeed. My goodness.
Very...
what is
tough
happening?
engagements there for NRG. They're getting vaporized. I mean, the stack was in the right place. The numbers were in the right place. They took the initial engagements, and then they just chew them out on entry. Peep getting aggressive out of T-Con there. Takes out the Ivy presence. The setups for NRG are getting red. Nouns. They're in their heads. They're taking their space, and they are annihilating right now. So NRG maybe needing to mix up the calls here, maybe needing to change up the approach to get a little bit more stuck in, because they only have 1 round with kills right now, and they still couldn't win it.
we know that. Okay, we'll talk about it after. Bro is going
Pass
to go
Ivy
up
play.
here. Yep.
Overwhelm. There's some killage, but Momo got his pound of flesh early, and they're not looking at peeping. And Peeping sprays down 3. Oh my goodness. He cannot put a bullet wrong.
This is insane. Of the 5 rounds that Nouns have won, the only one where they lost more than one player was that OC3K. Outside of that, they've had 3 perfect rounds without losing a single player, and that one they only lost 1. Okay. Timeout, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Timeout.
I'd say so. Getting annihilated here early on. They barely warmed up. Meanwhile, on the other side, Peeping 7-1. Junior hasn't died yet. Just totally one-sided through these first 5 rounds.
Bit of a stunner, honestly.
That one round in the 2-on-2 as well. It was a 3-on-2 reminder. They found Hex coming out T-Con. Had a full read that's where he would be in that particular setup, by the way. I think this might be a situation of NRG having a little too much tape out there.
Yeah, what I was going to say was we know how much Cryptic loves to watch the tape too, right? And we know he studies it, he goes through it, he really takes it seriously, as of course, as he should and as you would expect him to. But yeah, NRG, he probably knows their tendencies. He's probably making some pretty good calls here, and anti-strats coming through. So yeah, so far so good for Nouns. There we go, drive-by headshot for George over on Junior. So that's a 5v4 in favor of NRG. The first time I think they've had an opening frag so far. Yeah, it is.
They're slowing this down. This double pop push, though, no one's watching it. No one's watching it. No one's looking. And that could be a problem. There is some more support here available, though. George with some cleanup kills means that Peeping is going to withdraw back into pop. It is now just Peeping. He's been lethal. Could find the bomb here, but there's 2 players to deal with. And yeah, he's not going to be able to get out of that angle. So NRG on the board comfortably as well. Keeping 4 alive is going to be important here because they've got a bit of a lead and a bit of a bank to chip away at.
No kidding. The bank is solid for Nouns because of how few bodies they've lost over that 5-round win streak. The thing is, I mean, NRG looked like they adapted there and were kind of waiting and expecting Nouns to come through. Nouns have been coming through aggressive every single round and pushing exactly the right angle. So NRG obviously called the timeout and said, hey guys, we got to be aware of this. And even then, there was a player caught off by Cryptic's push up pop. So we'll see what adjustment Nouns will make off of that, if any. Still have that full buy up coming through with Junior on the AWP. NRG are a little more cautious about their approach at this stage. A couple of players hovering right around pop. And now deciding to go in towards that B side. And that's where the bomb's going as well. There's still 2 players outside of T-Con, so maybe this is going to be a fake A and then a push B. Looks to be the case.
Well, that's one way. That's one way to get it done. 1 site anchor deleted. 1 shot, 1 kill. The Junior can play that same game, and his shots a little bigger. So getting back into this is going to be a little bit tough. NRG, they don't have all their numbers on site just yet. This is a cheeky angle for Bro. If Cryptic comes around the corner, well, he's not able to find the killing blow. The damage is there. And now Bro can start to connect these shots. George alongside him means that this is likely going to be a save for Nouns.
Yeah, NRG finally pushing them back. A nice fake actually tossed towards the A site. They had the smokes and a lot of util dedicated to it. So they pulled at least 1 player off of B, and that left Nitro anchoring it down, and Nitro just gets absolutely blown away. Excuse me, not Nitro. I think it was Peeping that Nitro blew away. Apologies, Nitro. that was him pulling off a nice little execute. 2-5. I think my brain got a little fried there by Nouns' dominance that I was even convinced in a round NRG one that Nouns were the ones doing the damage.
I mean, they just came out frying so very quickly here, right?
Yeah.
Interesting to see what kind of adjustments we might be getting. Looking for some aggressive T-Con space here. Cryptic wants that utility down for it, but Bro's not going to make it easy for him. Deep smoke on. Bro fades back away. Molotov for Olaf. He's going to be forced out by that. The flashbang's awkward. He sticks his face right in the flames, and now he's out in the open. But Junior connecting shots from the back of the bomb train. He's laying down the law. Might just be enough to hold them at bay. They need to move before that camera smoke fades. There's a gap on the left side of it. They're going to have to go back for the bomb as well. But as it fades, Bro, last bullets in the AK, they're enough. So falls to Momo in a 1v2. He's got Bro painted into the corner here. Oh, he's looking for more. He's looking for the second kill. He spotted him. He knows where it is. Can't quite line up both shots. I don't know what he's waiting for at this point. Get the kill before it gets away from him. He knew where OC was, but he still has to execute. OC opting for the deathmatch. Avoid the bomb. Stick on the fight. Who looks which way win?
Oh.
The drop down betrays Momo, and OC's got it.
My guess is that Momo was waiting for a bomb plant to come through, or was thinking that OC would plant the bomb, and then as that's happening, he would get the frag and then go after the bomb planter. But unbeknownst to him, the bomb actually wasn't in their vicinity. They still had to go retrieve it. I believe it was at T-Con. So, yeah, eventually he had to try and get that frag, and he did. Even got the reload off before engaging with OC, but OC spotted him out as he was jumping off bomb train, and that did it. 3 rounds in a row for NRG, who do look like they're back to their usual selves here. Very slow start, but their engines are revving now. Bro working his way out. Cryptic with that MP9 has been so very lethal. He gets himself another one. Junior on the Deagle, and this eco round has got some teeth.
Does indeed. Does indeed. George looking to dig them out of this. But a wraparound from Ivy. If they still out too long, that flank could be dangerous. You got a player in towards Pop Dog now as well. Classy has just got the USP. But a back-turn bomb planter is a ripe target regardless of the gun. Eyes on Momo. Eyes on Momo. Oh no! He pops off early, and now they've spotted Classia, and this round is coming apart at the seams. They got damage onto Junior, and OC, the cleanup crew, brings through all 3. That is quite the blunder from Momo.
Oh my god, he had all the time in the world too, right? He just had to walk up and hit the headshot close range. It's one-shot headshot at that range as well with the 5.7. And he couldn't get it done. Oh boy, he's probably kicking himself right now. He probably feels worse than anyone else on the team right now, but it's okay. I'm sure he'll have his chance to recover. NRG on 4 in a row, and it was just an eco round. The thing is, it was so threatening, right, Mike? It felt like Nouns were going to be able to pull off a surprising round victory against NRG, who have actually struggled against eco rounds throughout these playoffs. But NRG do keep it together that time. OC and George saved the day, and OC's looking particularly sharp, so they're probably going to lean on him a little bit throughout this map of train, as they already have in this 4-round win streak.
This round's not live.
I would imagine so, with Hex jumping up and down.
Either that or this is a new meta. Also, players dropped out. So, there is that. There is that.
Yeah, who we lost here? Cryptic.
Who's even on Nouns anymore? No, it's Cryptic, yeah.
Yeah.
They do need it.
They do. They do need their IGL.
We're doing skin analysis, it seems. John, I'm going to leave this to you. You're the expert here. What am I looking at?
This is this the gun year? I think so. This is the gun
this is the one
from,
that makes the one AUG I have very expensive,
yes,
because it trades up to that op.
Exactly. It's from the Norse collection. That is a really nice collection, honestly. That was the op I was eyeing during that operation, however many years ago it was. And it's just, I remember the price being more affordable. I think it was sub 1K. At one point, I'm like, oh, maybe it'll get cheaper. No, I missed my opportunity, Mike. I was going to buy it, and I just, no, wait. And I shouldn't have waited, because it's super expensive now. Oh, it's beautiful, too. It's got the pearlescent finish, so it's got a nice little effect going on. Especially in CS2, it looks beautiful. So, yeah.
This is why you're the resident skin guy, John. Because I could not care that much.
I love skins.
I know you do.
It's just
And
so
they don't love you because they're code. They have no feelings.
well, maybe they do. You don't know.
If they
Code
give
can-
you love for yourself, then maybe that's enough.
I think it is. I like the shiny skins.
Trying to go back to find this ridiculous AUG.
I forgot the name of your AUG, but I know which one it is.
Something else Norse, vaguely.
Yes. It trades up to Negev.
Oh, I found it. It's the Flame Jormungandr.
Yes. And
Oh my god, it's gone up.
yeah, you got some good value there, Mike.
I might need to sell this thing.
No, you don't. You want to hold it forever.
Well, do I want pixels on a screen or do I want $600? That's a question I'll have to ask myself. But in the meantime, we're going to ask if we can get this break resolved. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, did a little quick analysis of my finances there, and we'll see if the AUG lives to see another day. In the meantime, though, the question is, who's going to be living to see another day on this map of Train?
Well, it feels like NRG's found their mojo. And on the other side, Nouns are reeling a little bit. You know, that early aggression, the aggression that was working before, isn't now. Oh my goodness. Playing anti-flash, Cryptic, and peeping. I'm surprised Cryptic even gets one in that situation because they were peeking around that flash very effectively. Spacing was good, of course. Gives them that man advantage. 4v3 in favor of NRG.
Looking nice now. And the utility's virtually gone. We got a couple flashbangs, but there's nothing else to stall at these choke points. There's no kits if we get to the post. Tough spot. Fortunately, the post isn't something they're going to have to worry about. They've got all the bodies in the right place. They're all here. Junior trying to connect shots, but eventually he has to make his move. And now Classy is painted into a corner here at the back of the bomb Train. Momo's trying to get active to help out his teammate, but his teammate is gone. So now it is just Momo. And OZ was ready that whole time.
Yep, and that's 5 in a row for NRG to respond to Nouns' torrid 5-0 start. And also the bank account has almost run out for Nouns. In fact, I think they'll be on an eco here, or a half buy, I should say. Because they don't have enough money to get that full investment, really. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, OC is the one that really propelled them forward when no one was really connecting on anything. And George as well chimed in an important moment with OC. They combined there for that round victory. I think it was round number 4 when that eco almost got them. Or I should say round victory number 4 for NRG. That's a nice nade. Peeping and Cryptic down to half health.
You don't love to see that if you're Nouns.
No.
It's suboptimal. Molotov burning. And here comes the swing. Momo able to get one. It's something at the least, but it might just be a save type of situation.
Well,
they're going to buy in the next round regardless.
Yeah.
They don't really want to take these guns through. They're just kind of stuck. There's no easy way to get in.
I mean, it's not the worst case to take a couple of MP9s through and keep using them forward because it'll allow you to have better utility in the next round. So you're right, Mike. They could opt to go for the save. Junior, though, with the Deagle, I don't know. I say just send him in and see if he can find a frag or something. And that's...
I mean, if he gets a gun, excellent, on the exits. He's not going to tilt the balance of this round at this point.
No, not at all.
Oh, someone's taking a nap on the job.
Okay, Junior, does he get something? Cryptic and OC engage, and Cryptic wins that, but Bro finds a trade, and now Junior's gone as well. Again, it doesn't really matter if they save those MP9s. They were going to buy up in this round anyway, and Peeping actually throws it away. He doesn't even want to see that MP9 anymore. Oh, well. The MP9 is sad, but they need those M4s. That said, NRG up 6-5 after that start from Nouns is actually crazy that they're going to go into the next half either tied or in the lead.
You're not mad about that. Talk about recovery. And that's why this map is so downright dangerous. Because Nouns clearly came in with a lot of ante. They had a very good read for what NRG wanted to bring. But the adjustment comes through. They slow down the pace substantially as well, anticipating this early aggression from Nouns. It's been a big part of it. Punishing the pop dog pushes, punishing the aggression around T-Con and Ivy.
Here it is again.
Double up the ramp. There's the spot, and George says, nope. Don't want to do that. I know that there's almost no one on site as a result of that spot. So why don't we just take A? Sound good? Okay. This is me narrating George's inner monologue. Outer monologue, perhaps, in the team speak.
More than likely. Maybe both.
Little column A, little column B. I did think it was very interesting in this team in NRG when he joined. One of the things that Daps in particular highlighted that they were very pleasantly surprised was how active a voice he is in the server. He talks. He tells them what they want to do. He controls a lot of the rotator angles and some of the CT sides in particular, and it's been a big asset for this team. And they'll be headed towards that CT side right after this break. We are live back into the fun here. And I think it's a lot of fun for NRG because they came out flat-footed, but after a quick timeout, they settled on in and ran 7 rounds in a row to take a lead onto the CT side.
Yeah, that's actually kind of wild. We thought Nouns might have had something here, but as it stands, even in this one, already Bro has 2, and Hex might have another one for himself too. He gets run down by Momo, but still it's a 4v3 in favor of NRG, and now a 4v2 with Osi connecting on that shot. Bomb plant comes through. That's the good news for Nouns. The bad news is Momo's on 1 HP, and probably a dead man. And then they're going to chase down Classia. Yeah, there goes Momo. And Classia is done as well. Wow. NRG clinical on the pistol. At least now salvage a bomb plant.
At least. It's something. It's something because they're going to need to get some rounds real quick here. At this point, this has gotten very out of hand. Momentum's on. 8 rounds on. You lose the pistol. You had some very nice ante in the beginning of this map, but after that ran out after NRG started adjusting, that's a struggle to keep pace.
Now it's going to force up here off that bomb plant. They don't actually get any Galils, which is the surprising part. Instead, just a couple of Mac 10s and a lot of util, so that's going to help them out. But NRG feel like they're in cruise control right now. 3 A1Ss, an MP none, and a FAMAS. So should they keep all those pieces up in this round, the next one will be even better. And
I don't know if it's cruise control yet. They still got to build up the runway. This is like when you're accelerating on the highway. You're getting to get towards cruise control.
Yeah, but you're feeling it. It's like about to start.
Flow state.
Yes.
George, I think maybe a little fortunate there not to get caught, right? Always challenging when those Mac 10s are just swinging wildly and never stop moving. Remember, folks, never stop swinging. Holding an angle? What is this, 2021?
I miss holding angles.
Yeah, well, get busy swinging or get busy dying is the way that it goes. Much. Bro swings on in, and Classia now connecting a deagle shot. Suddenly, this has all come apart. The force spy is successful. George might just have to save this. Oh my goodness. All in an instant, those kills come through. Our poor observer trying to keep track.
Yeah, that's actually pretty wild. I cannot believe that Nouns have pulled that one off. George, only the 1 frag. Nitro had 1 as well, but Nouns just took over afterwards. They've got free upgrades waiting for them on the site. Nothing George can do to deny that. Should be far enough away from the bomb to be safe with 16 HP, but if I were him, I'd go even further away just to be extra cautious, given the CS2 bomb radiuses. Well, he's okay. He's okay. Junior, and along with Momo and Classia, walk away with upgrades. They get the round of 6 under their belts, and I don't know that NRG will force up here because the money's really bad.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to make this one work, but they're going to go for it because of that saved gun on George.
Let's
see. We got a scout. We got 5 7s, and they certainly can make this work. Days of Yore Train used to be a very cheeky force spy map, but clearing out the A site has made it a lot tougher. There's just wider sight lines. You can't tuck pistols in as many spots as you used to be able to. Going A against 5 7s was the stuff of nightmares.
Yes.
I'm just going to clear this angle, and it's a P250, and I'm headshot, and
dead.
Much less of a threat now, but still challenging. Those tight angles up by the ramp, you can get some aggression up pop. There's work that can be done with the pistols.
Speaking of which, Bro finds an opener here for his squad, and the follow-up. Cryptic's gone. Is Junior gone too?
Oh boy.
Yes, Bro.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness, the 5 7s delivering, and Bro picks up the AK and says, I got that too. 4K for Bro. Hex also chimes in for 1 to cap off the round, and NRG's force spy is clean.
Look, it's not the ace, but it might as well have been a 5-7 and just utter decimation here, making it look so very clean. Knock it down one by one. The spacing, not ideal there for Nouns, right? They're definitely giving him the chance to reset his aim, but still, that is a devastating loss for Nouns. They're going to force buy right back in because they need to regain. If they don't, I mean, this one could be over before you know it at the hands of one Mr. Burrow.
Oh, wow. Mortar strike from Nitro on to Peeping. Already a 5v4 for NRG in the first 15 seconds of the round. Clasia wants to peek upper. He's got that AK. One of the two in the round for Nouns. OC still on the scout. He can be lethal with it, though, especially holding the angle. Hits the shot onto Clasia. That's through the wall as well, so it doesn't do as much damage as it usually would have as a tag. And the nade does nothing. A little too shallow. A lot too shallow.
Get the timing from that swing from NRG. Cryptic has to be wondering whether they have just a radar dish on his head. Tagged. Random smoke spam. Good flashbang. Bro's gone. Nice timing there. Catching Bro, trying to slip in towards Pop. Now this gets a little more challenging for the site defenders. Backside, Nitro's gone. Smoking towards Z makes this uncomfortable. And coming through that smoke is going to cost OC his life. So Nouns a force buy, and they are right back on the board. And George, this is familiar territory. How does he still have a FAMAS in this? It's the same one.
I think it's the same one, yeah.
It's absolutely the same one.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He's gone. Cryptic 4K. And what a force by Nouns, walking out of T-Con, getting that critical frag onto Bro. That was the key, and that was a great flashbang, of course, that helped make it happen. Then another awesome flashbang thrown by Momo this time helps Cryptic get a second for himself, and after that, it was just a pile of frags for Nouns. So, force buy wars, I don't know if they're going to end here. Looks like they are, surprisingly, even with NRG having more money than the previous time.
No gun saved this time to buy around.
Could have got MP9s in here, some 5.7s again. It wouldn't have been bad.
Could have done, but the back and forth always winds up favoring the T's. George, 5.7. Dink onto Clasia. And that is going to put them on a little bit of notice here. Bomb's headed upper. They've got 3 players here. It's just unarmored pistols. It's just unarmored pistols, John. Surely nothing is going to happen.
Nah, this is CS2, Mike.
They're taking Pop.
You never know.
So they may not even test these unarmored pistols. I like the idea behind the setup. You got to go for a gamble. You got to give yourself something. But as Junior explores Pop Dog, it's looking increasingly unlikely that they're even going to head towards this site. That is a kill for George. That is a gun. Now there's something worth saving.
Or we're taking towards the safe site. Bomb's still not planted. Cryptic will put that down to dirt, but they're going to have a look here, I would imagine. At least that's how it feels with going to Long Dog right there. Hexed and Nitro. Working their way out, and yeah. Never mind. I don't think anything's happening here. I think George is just going to save the AK, and they're looking for some exits and some gun upgrades. If they get more than that, that would be crazy. And there's just no chance at it anyway. So it will be an 8th for Nouns. NRG get an AK out of the round, which isn't bad at all, considering this is just an eco. Cryptic does find Hex. The Nitro and OC are trying to hunt for frags or do damage, and also that is not happening. And,
unless,
okay.
A TK and a follow-up. Nitro can't quite get his hands on that gun. But he does make it at least expensive here. Forcing a reinvestment out from Nouns, and it is the one AK that lives through. That's nice. It means they can drop over to Bro. It means they can have a much more complete buy here. Absolutely. Not too shabby at all.
timeout going to be called again for Nouns, for NRG, excuse me.
Interestingly, Nitro could have actually dropped over the op, so they've chosen not to go for it. He had enough to drop an op and buy armor. Choose to go for the utility instead. We know he's very comfortable going towards the rifles, but I wonder if this timeout's almost to discuss that, because especially on train, the op can be just such an asset for locking down sight lines.
And he's really good with it. He likes to deploy it around usually Ivy in towards T-Con and, well, or posting up Ivy, one of the two. He gets lots of visibility on multiple angles there. But it looks like this time they don't want to do it. He's been so, like, it's just that when I see him on the op, it really does change the complexion of NRG CT sides on train. Well, this time they don't want to do it, like you mentioned, Mike, and certainly true that he's comfortable on the rifles without much of a problem. Momo gonna spray down OC down to 22. George wants to peek. George does get the frag onto Momo. Falls back 5v4. Classia tries to find the trade, but George is out of dodge already.
Nitro. Walking down this angle. But just as he moves out of it, we see from the x-rays, but these are seconds away from being active engagements. Well, 4 players here. If Cryptic does brave the doorway, it's a tough fight to have. His teammates have bailed out, so he's probably just going to hold on to this position. Maybe punish Bro if he comes back out of T-Con. Meanwhile, his teammates are rerouting. Thought they were maybe going to try and see if there was any presence on towards B, but instead, they're going to group up for an A-main hit. 43 seconds. Still smoking a molly. The smoke's inner, though. Hext has the molly here. But a Molotov of their own over on Nouns rumbles out the first piece of contact.
23 seconds.
And now Cryptic clears out the player heaven, but you're absolutely right, John. That clock's getting low, and now that bomb is dropped. It has to be recovered, and Nitro is holding court, and Nitro will not be letting them touch that C4 again.
Oh my goodness, Nitro. He's always good for these crazy plays. When all the pressure's on his shoulders, he doesn't really feel it. He just comes out and frags away. Let's not take away anything from, of course, that flashbang that was tossed by George that created all that discord. That was critical to Nitro's clutch, but still, Nitro had to hit the shots, and he absolutely does. 10 rounds on the board as NRG strike back. And now Nouns, well, they're not going to shy away from the force buys. They continue to force up here. Junior on the op. Everyone else with pistols. What a round from Nitro.
Massive time to find it. Breaks the eco. Force buy in from Nouns. They are scrabbling. They do have that hero op. See if Junior can justify it. The creeping and the crawling in from Ivy. But it's peeping. Who's peeped upon. There's a purchase here. There's the swing back in. Nitro confirms it, but at the cost of his life. Now they know about that op. Hex is looking to hold the line. Here's the scope, and OC rings out with an off shot of his zone. That's not the killing blow, and now Hex will punish them for it. It falls to Momo. He can grab that big green, but a nade quickly chases, and it's NRG for 11.
That's an unfortunate time for Junior to miss the shot, right? Had an opportunity to allow Nouns the space to get out of Ivy. But then when he misses it, the frags start to come the other way. And finally, Momo does connect on it. But by the time he does, he's the last one standing. And there's nothing really left for Nouns to do other than to lose the round. And, well, it comes at the hands of a nade thrown by OC. 11-8 for NRG. And now the force buy, well, it has to stop here for Nouns. But The map is so close to being over. It's 11 rounds for NRG. They're charging up Ivy, getting aggressive here. They haven't done this the entire half. They do have a TK in the mix, and then a frag comes through with the Glocks. But OC's right there for the Colat to wrap it up. The round is over in 15 seconds, Mike.
That's how you like it if you're NRG. Just the quick wrap. Not so much for Nouns. They've given them a fight here on Train. Going into it, we really didn't know what to expect from Nouns. Turns out it might just be the exact same scoreline they had the last time they went off. Don't think that one started with a 5-0.
It did not. For
Nouns. So they had some ideas. Clearly, they forced NRG to go off of Plan A. That is at least the first step. Steps 2 through 5. Maybe not quite plan 4. Peeping, though. Looking to change the math here. It's nothing like planning. You got a few less players to worry about. Speaking of which, bro, do some work of his own. Peeping gone. Tag onto Junior. And the longer they get stalled out in this outer yard, the closer Hexed creeps.
Oh, no.
Junior's a dead man. No way he's getting off of this. But it does mean that B's open. And so bomb plant is all but guaranteed here for Nouns.
That's actually a really good read from Nouns. Realizing that, okay, Hex is behind us, and the other two, we already kind of saw them, so let's go right in towards that B site that's completely vacated. Heads up by Cryptic to make that call. The thing is, they're still in a man disadvantaged situation.
Out the breach they go, and Glacia has secured at least a 1v1 for Cryptic. They know where he is, though. Nade's gonna soften Cryptic up. Shots could drop. Cryptic dancing around Thomas. But it's choo-choo chugging. As Hex gets closer, the shadow betrays him. And Hex with the pre-fire confirms the round, confirms the map for NRG.
Wild. Absolutely wild. A 13-3 run for NRG. After that 5-round run where we were like, whoa, that was a stunning start from Nouns, they kind of disappeared, which is thanks to a good timeout that was called by NRG saying, hold on a second, we need to talk about this and figure out what's going on. And they figured it out very quickly and started to wait for Nouns to make those pushes and punish them every single time. After that, Nouns didn't really seem to have a plan B on their CT side. And well, NRG's got so many strats and they dug into their book and really dealt the damage up against this Nouns squad. So they do get their map pick of Train, kind of what we expected, of course. It was an odd way to start the map, but at the end of it, NRG looked like they're in full control.
They do indeed. They do indeed, and especially considering that context, it's all the more impressive. We do head to Mirage. That's a much more comfortable territory for Nouns. That's a map that NRG have shown some struggles on recently, so there's every reason to believe that this is going to be a 3-map series. And Nouns, we'll see what they're bringing. We come in to that next map on Mirage.
Think you've seen it all? With Faceit Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive Faceit points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, Faceit.
And we are live into the action here on Mirage. As we're about to be hopping into the map. Reminder, I'm Darth Mike. We got JRT here, and NRG are up one map after a victory on Train. This is Nouns' map pick, though. They should be looking a lot stronger here on Mirage. They came out swinging on Train, but down the stretch faded quite fast. And I was muted to John, but I promise I was going out to stream here, John. So they heard me. You didn't hear me, but they heard me, and that's what matters, John. What do you make of Mirage between these two teams?
Look, I mean, generally, like you mentioned before we went to break, I feel like Nouns should technically have an edge here on Mirage, but if you look at the stats over the last month for both teams, it's pretty much identical. 1 win, 3 losses, and you see their CT round win percentages and T round win percentages are hovering around 41 and 52, 53% respectively. That it hasn't been a good map for either squad. And if you look at over the last time they played it up against each other, I believe it was NRG that came out on top. Yeah, 13-9. So there's that. That's the only win for NRG as well on their side. So honestly, it's hard to say who's going to come out on top here. But if a team like NRG that have been struggling on Mirage as of late are going to have problems on any map, it will be this one.
It will indeed. It will indeed. Nouns took it to the right place. We did have some strong individual performances over on Train. In particular, George and OC were having a good one. And if that can continue, could be a scale tipper here against Nouns. The flip side, of course, is just that we generally expect really strong performances from Junior in particular on this map. He tends to thrive on Mirage, so eyes on. Classy has had some good times here. It's a map where individuals were firepowers, where the fact that this is a roster in flux probably isn't going to cost them as much. And so we are looking at Nouns to show a better face here.
Yeah, and I would argue that we're also looking for NRG to show a better face because they've had moments on Mirage where like, oh, okay, they understand how to play this map. Now there are times like they look completely lost. We've had, both ends of the spectrum for NRG here on Mirage in those last 2 matchups, right? Against Blue Jays a couple of days ago and getting info yesterday. It is worrisome for NRG, but at the same time, not in a BO3 environment because they can have their bad map. Every team does. And then they come out and overall will get the win more often than not once they get to map number 3. But here, I imagine they're hoping they can learn some lessons from the past 2 and come out on top against Nouns as they did previously.
Yeah, they will be looking to do so. I'm curious to see if we get that the burst early for Nouns here as well. You mentioned the fact that Cryptic loves his preparation and having these, one a day matches does tend to suit his particular style. But I don't know. It's almost like stacking the play calls early on in like a football game, for example, where they come out with a certain amount of script and then they run out of that script and you get into the improvisation, and that's where things are a little less effective.
Yeah, I also feel like, regardless of, Cryptic does make the prep and he's got a lot of good experience under his belt against NRG. It's different squads. Like they played with their new players, Magi and Nouns, in that last match up against NRG, and now he has Peeping and Momo. And I know you might say, okay, well, it's still the same map, still in Mirage, like you were also alluding to before, Mike. It's Mirage. Everyone knows how to play it. Still, it's going to have an impact on your chemistry and your ability to call and make sure that all the players are comfortable with the calls that you're making. So, yeah, there are a lot of question marks around Nouns for sure. And for NRG, we know that it's really mostly about consistency here on the map, and roster question marks don't even exist. They've got that solid 5. They're looking good. They're in the top 40 right now on HLTV rankings and Valve rankings. Everything's looking great for them. So I think that the pressure is on for Nouns more than NRG at this point.
Most definitely, right? The pressure for Nouns has been on all season long, all year long, and now it seems like we are ready to hop on in. So we'll see if that pressure has made a diamond here on Mirage. It will be Nouns starting on the T side, as it is their map choice. So NRG got their choice of side. And away we go. Doubled up in the window. Bro getting in towards ladder off the rip. It's heavy mid setup. So I'd say NRG knows what to expect, and George is going to connect the first blow as well. Nouns really wanted this top mid presence, and they are going to have to pay in blood if they want to do it. Bit of an exchange here, but continuing the duel. We've spotted the bomb, so it's confirmation of what NRG already seemed to know. There is this presence in Palace, and with no one on the A site proper, Clasia maybe could have gotten out, but he didn't quite realize it.
Nitro's thinking about it, right? You see him fading back into this A site going, oh, this is too much space. No one's here. He's going to have a look around, and now I think he has some visibility on Palace if anyone decides to come out. And the problem for Nouns is that they don't really seem to have a plan B here in this pistol round. Everyone's kind of disjointed. Junior's trying to regroup here towards top mid with peeping.
OC was jump spotting this, but he's actually just shifted up as Junior comes through, so he didn't get the information. It's being communicated, though, because Bro's withdrawing. So as Bro backs away, now he's in the perfect angle to deal with Junior's presence. Might not expect another player to still be up on catwalk here. Doesn't. Okay. So Peeping does bring that kill through. Now he's trying to link up with his teammate in Clasia. Spotted the player. Molotov. Brucey can't risk that molly. He has to back away. Peeping's actually going to chase him down, and that will cost him. That's the bomb. That's the bomb now dropped forward. OC can play the angle. Can't capitalize, but there's just no time here. Clasia has to stick it right off the bat. Going jumping. He's out. It has to be a commit, but Hex doesn't make the move. Knows where he's planted it. He's comfortable conceding that bomb plant. As long as he can get the kill, but a goose shot from Hex, or sorry, from Clasia, means they're now on even footing. Next bullet wins it. There's the kid here. Time pressure isn't the same, but Hex eventually does have to make the move. Oh, and he's got to get a reload off as well. Now he's running out of clock. Now he's running out of time, and Classy is able to withdraw, able to play the post plan here. This is just not going to happen. One bullet will finish, and Classy in a drive-by plays that to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that temptation there, right, to try and stick it in the smoke, but, you know, it's only 12 HP, so all that, only one bullet has to connect, and it probably would have happened anyway, so Hex realized the frag had to come through, and it just didn't. He had his chances, just that the bullets would not connect with the head of Clasia. So absolutely phenomenal from Clasia. It looked like it was curtains for Nouns, but they do manage to pull it back from the brink and make it 1-0. Here comes that smoke for window immediately, and NRG are not forcing up this time around. It will just be the USPs. They're stacking that B site, which is honestly the best call, right? If they're going to have impact with pistols in this type of situation, it's going to happen on B, so just stack it. If they don't go there, oh well. Here comes Nouns to B.
Peeping, flying on out, and it's a quick pick apart of these crossfires. Even if you had the players in the right place, the flashbangs were lethal.
Peeping, hello.
Ambitious for Peeping, going for the knife, but it is going to be a comfortable one for Nouns.
Just straight up being stared at. He's like, I'll try for this anyway. Pulls out the knife. That's
I think he's thinking his teammates are spraying him down. It's just a USP, you know. Yeah. Get that extra money.
It's the best chance to get a little cash. But anyway, doesn't happen, of course, as NRG will lose that follow-up. But here come the guns for them. And let's not forget, Nouns, despite a very hot start on train, were flat once those rifles really came down in their direction, and NRG is going to have them very quickly here. It's going to be M4s across the board. Not much util though, so that could be a little bit of a challenging point for them coming into this, because on the other side they've got tons available. Peeping, going underpass. He's looking in towards Khan. It's being smoked off right now, but he's going to spam through the top of it to try and clear up some space. Doesn't see anything, so now he's directed his attention in towards ladder room and window. Ooh, Nitro and Peeping. Timing a little bit off for both of them. Nitro's hiding behind that corner just barely, so Peeping won't spot him out.
Speaking of spotting him out, nice little peek from Peeping. It's again a very strong start for Nouns. Let's see if they can continue. Classic holds the line against this aggro push, but George will catch him static on the angle. And that means NRG's now got a base to fight from if this does in fact continue towards A. Control the ramp, gives them some comfort, gives them some place to withdraw. This is the way the bomb's headed. Tilt throwing over. Molotov to keep them off the steps. Buy a little bit of time for Hex to start to get closer here. He wants to get in towards Ticket so they can set up a crossfire. But it might be a little late to it. Anticipating that there are already players here. Plays ahead of the flashbang. Look at the damage. No. It's not a kill. But damage it is indeed. And now with the bomb drop down in the open. Damage onto Bro. It's Bro and George who got to police that C4. And they'll be able to do so. Junior in the clutch. He's out of time. He's out of time. He just doesn't have the clock for this. He has to back away. So it's a save of a Galil. Not what you wanted here if you're Nouns.
Yeah, not at all. It felt like they would be able to get more space than that. Hex comes in on a flank and actually doesn't do as well as you'd expect. He's been fighting his crosshair over the last 3 days, but not as much yesterday, right? He already actually tweeted about it, like you mentioned yesterday, Mike, that on the first day of the playoffs, he didn't feel like things were going very well for him. But yesterday was a huge improvement. It was actually very impactful on the last map of play. But unfortunately for him, so far, hasn't been great. And in that one, you feel like he had at least one for free, probably both, and couldn't finish the job. So we'll see if he can get it back. That said, he did do the damage, did help ensure that it would be easy to get rid of those two players. And then afterwards, Junior really couldn't do anything more into the round because he ran out of time. Match going to be paused here. I think it's another technical timeout coming through, Mike. I don't see anyone missing on the server. So I'm not sure what the nature of this is.
Stutters, lags, vibes are wrong, stars are in the wrong alignment, crystals need charging, headset exploded. Got to put the pieces back together. Wow, all right, this is a new one.
What is it?
A player has apparently injured themselves.
What?
Has
Who?
cut themselves on something at their desk. That's a new one for me.
I have never heard that before. We've never had a live injury ever.
It's a dangerous game, Counter-Strike.
I guess depends on what you have around you.
Just between the desk and chair, I guess. Well, we won't speculate on how they've done that, but I do see players buying up, so we're going back live. Whatever it was is just a flesh wound.
Yeah, just need to get a Band-Aid, wrap it up, you're good.
Band-Aid applied, back live. We're good to go. The blood game coming through. Blood sacrifice made. Whoever that is, they're about to pop off.
Band-Aid's a +5 aim buff.
Confirmed Hexed made the blood sacrifice. He's an animated lad. You could see how it could happen.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think I can figure out what happened there.
I'll see if this can happen here. Because he hasn't gotten on the board just yet, but now, an offering to the old gods might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Oh, see, you got a dink. His doctor did not write a prescription for that. Nitro's here on the flank, but okay, denying that bomb is now huge. That is a huge difference maker, right? Because if the flank came in late, this buys so much time for Nitro. He's opted to go Palace as well. Classy doesn't want to move off this spot because he knows it's his post plant. It's his best one, and now Nitro plucks him away from it. So now they're leaving. They are leaving. Nouns had firm control of this site, and Peeping's not going to get out on the line. Nitro brings it through. Another big impact multi-frag. Nouns just could not get that bomb planted.
Wow, what a play from Nitro again. And I mean, Nouns are trying to get away. I have to give a lot of credit. I think it was to OC actually in the Palace position that allowed for more space for Nitro to chase those out, because he managed to get the frag onto Classia and then is pinching into those two players that are trying to escape into Jaguar, because they really didn't have a path back into the A site. So, I mean, that was the right decision. I said Jaguar, I meant jungle, but you guys got it. But that was the only way they could get out and try to find their way to winning the round. And when the player gets picked off, I believe that was Peeping, that was it. Cryptic tried to fight back into it, decided that that was his best course of action, try and get one and then fade to the B site. It doesn't happen, and Nouns lose a second in a row, but they're not going to give up just yet. They're forcing up, and they've already got the opening frag. Peeping on towards Bro, and Junior's got the scout at top mid, watching window as the smoke fades away.
George wants to swing in, and the boost being assembled. It's the perfect time to catch. There's the cleanup on another. Spot on the player top mid, but Hex, you don't want to stick around. You got the advantage back in favor of your team. You drop that bomb on down. Might be time to pump some air into this round. Glacia looking to deflate. Oh, they are going to swing. They want to fight. They realize that Junior's still stacked up on those mid boxes. Maybe not for now. OC is at some risk here, but he comes back to check, and now he knows. Glacia did connect the shot, but it wasn't to the head. And so it falls to an unarmored scout for Junior here. Shouldn't be giving him much in terms of opportunities. And perfect timing on the peak from Nitro means that there is no more danger in this round.
Danger diffused. NRG up to 3. And Nouns is forced by, yields, well, a little bit of damage. But that flashbang from Hext and then George coming around, getting that MAC 10 MP9 damage. And of course, Hext afterwards pitching in. He got 2 frags to his name now, so that's gonna give him a little more confidence, I'm sure. Hopefully won't be getting as upset as he did previously and injuring himself. You know what, I've been there, Mike. I'm not proud of it, but maybe we'll get to that another time. Looks like some action's gonna happen here.
Leave that alone. I've seen you rage.
No, but Mike,
no defense. No defense.
I actually, because of what happened, because of the way I injured myself, I stopped completely. I actually calmed down quite a bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
Always a good time for growth.
I'm usually pretty... Anyway, whatever. George's going to get the headshot on the Junior. And then the follow-up on Cryptic. They're just farming away the anti-eco frags here. This should be relatively straightforward.
Oh, boy. 1 casualty. But now Glacia in a doorway. No escape. The door doesn't open. I think that's a metaphor for something.
Sounds like it.
Stuck in a doorway. The door won't open. You have to swing out into your enemies. It sounds like an anxiety dream.
It does.
And then finally the door opens, but it leads you into your high school classroom for an exam that you haven't studied for. Oh, and suddenly you're naked. It's crazy how that happens.
Mike, I have those dreams all the time, and now because you said that, I'm gonna have that dream again. Thank you. I'm sure everyone else listening has had that too, so... Yeah,
if you're young and you're thinking, oh, it's because I was just in school, no, they'll never go away.
They don't go away.
That'll be locked in some piece of your brain forever.
Yep.
Momo, Smoke Popo, is down for the count, but out on the edge of the smoke, things got a little bit weird. OC connects onto 2, and Hext in the sandwich. It's a big full bite. Junior on 1v3. And his spot is confirmed. Hasn't shifted off of this just yet. Looks like he just wants the fight. He's got a minute. Could try and lose himself around the map, but now he's going to think better of it and shift away.
Yeah, no, it's better to just save the gun. Loss bonus would kick in.
I'd imagine this is more about trying to get a bomb plant. Oh, it's been spotted.
I feel like this is bold, honestly, from Junior. Going all the way to the B site.
They're letting him do it. Nitro thought he was going to come back. Tried to call his bluff. And there was no bluff.
Wow, okay. I feel like Junior's good for this. Let's go.
It would be quite something. He will not be good for it. He will, in fact, be not good for it. Big round from OC. And a 5th round on the board from NRG.
Yeah, OC's had these pop-off moments, and it's good to see OC back to his usual, I want to say his usual form, right? The form that we expect him, let's say, because he really had his struggles at the beginning of the formation of this NRG roster. Coming off his Liquid stint, I think the confidence was just really shot on his side, and it took time for him to recover from it, and finally he's back to his usual ways, and he's looking quite great in the process. 5th round found for NRG, and it's not just the AWP, it's the rifles as well. As Bro walks in towards window. A little bit of aggression coming through here from NRG. OC is back on that AWP. And he's watching from Cat. Nitro under pressure here. Could go down. He does. Klassia finding the opener. Takes some damage in the process. Does he get traded? No, but he spotted out George on default. That means the pressure will be applied on his side. But George is up to the task. Gets 2 and at least makes this a chance for NRG to come back and get that retake.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Good flashbangs. Forcing OC off the line. Skipper and Nades chasing him down as well. He is low. Might have to be Hext, who's the hero. You'll note, Hext, before he cuts himself, no kills. Hext, after he cuts himself, 6 kills. Blood sacrifice, I'm telling you, folks. It works.
Yeah, he was 0-3. It's been 6-2 since that point.
Smear a little blood on the mouse. Oh, good. See if his Warlock powers hold. OC connects on 1. Is trying to stay alive here, as Klassia would like to chase him down, but Hex now knows where that last player is. Oh! Hits a shot, but it's not a ding. Klassia, his magic is more powerful.
3K for Klassia. Second time Klassia has had a clutch round for his squad on the map. And looking at the money, should be fine for NRG, but kind of all starts with Klassia, honestly. Finding the space, opening it up for his squad, and then after that, wins the 1v1 up against Hext, who has looked a ton better. Timeout going to be called by NRG to talk things over, and I mean, as mentioned, the buy-up won't be a problem at all. Maybe just want to make some adjustments to their setup. Nouns, on the other hand, will have to settle for a couple of Galils and a MAC-10 because their money didn't really stabilize, and of course, losing 4 players isn't going to help that cause.
Away we go into round number 9. With the Mackie, do we think this is just a fast B play? No. But a fast mid play, perhaps. Smoke's thrown. The instas, and yeah, Momo's going to look to try and take space through this, gain a lot of ground very early on, chew up all this real estate here in towards mid, but he can't connect with the MAC-10. And as Bro gets this kill, now they're able to fall away. Utility sailing in to limit the angles. That was ambitious from George, but he gets the kill and most of the damage onto Peeping as well. Peeping low. Bro whipping through his sight lines. And actually, Klassia getting into Sandwich. I don't know that he was spotted by OC. I'm actually relatively confident he wasn't.
Ooh.
Junior Plux Nitro, and things are getting interesting. This is very spread on the T side, though. And now, Klassia has been revealed to tag both ways. Both players low will agree to maybe just leave that fight alone for a bit.
They're going to go to B, I think, here. Yeah, look at where the bomb is. Peeping into those T-apps. Hext close by. Over at Cat.
Just so clear out. Clear tall mid.
If he's looking, yeah, if he looks towards B apartments, yeah, it's going to be difficult here for Nouns. Junior does connect on to Bro. Hex is watching for this. Peeping's exceptionally low, so this round is not a sure thing by any means, especially with the time the way it is. And Hex does find Peeping, brings it back down to a 2v2. The bomb is dropped in the process. Klassia looking to regain the space. Hex pulls out the util. Is it a bad time? No, he gets it off.
He thinks the player's already out. He thinks another player's got to be out. Klassia's now dropped down into his angle, and that might just do it. Junior low, 9 seconds, 7 seconds. He has to stick this. They are running him down 3 seconds. He gets it off, but the molly forces him wide, and Hex will catch.
That's an unbelievable use of utility there coming through from OC as Hex was swinging around. OC says, okay, I got you, Hex. I'm going to throw that util, and you're going to take care of the frag, and it's exactly how it goes down. 6-3 in favor of NRG. And again, remember, 2-0 in favor of Nouns at the beginning of this one. True. Nice little start. And then they have 1 round since that point.
It's a more shrunk down version of what we got on Train.
Yeah.
It's hot start into a fizzle. Don't fizzle, folks. Keep your flame flickering. Momo again taking a lot of space very quickly in towards mid. This time, it's a lighter contest from NRG, so they're going to allow him the space. Punish with the utility. And Nitro, that was a dink, but through the bricks, it doesn't do much, actually.
Yeah.
Bro could be in a tough spot.
Bricks. Bro is trapped, yeah. He's focused towards window, and Cryptic comes in on the flank and takes care of him. 5v4 in favor of Nouns, but NRG are readjusting themselves. They've got 2 players on this B site, 2 on A. Oh, George's not going to clear the corner. He's dead to rights. Momo's got one, but OC gets the quick trade to keep things within reach here for NRG, but it's quickly falling out of hand. Classia is going to get that headshot onto Hex, and now they're moving into the B site. Still 1 player here, Nitro, who's been a hero in the past, has to do it again.
Molotov forces him out and straight into his death. So he will not be doing it again. In fact, OC will be saving this off. No chance of it. Hext, a curious decision there to push the smoke. I think when they felt like they lost the control in Con. Yeah. I don't know what the read was, where they were expecting the presence to be, right? Because OC was still there. He got that quick trade kill in towards Con. But the decision already been made for the walk push. And of course, he walks right into a waiting T. Kill on peeping should allow the opportunity to save this AWP. But for Nouns, they need rounds, and they are very happy to be getting one here.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're even leaning further in towards OC's position here, given the money situation. They need to keep these guns. They do settle down in the end. And keep the remaining 3 rifles in play. Of course, you got to take a chance, try to get that op down. That's what they do, but it doesn't happen, and they don't chase much further afterwards, even though they were posturing in that direction. Good shot from OC as well. All right, Nouns get a 4th. Good news for them. And on the side of NRG, they don't have the money to invest around the AWP. They will get some upgrades. Oh, never mind. I take it back. They're forcing. They're going for it, Mike. Seemed like they were leaning into an eco, and then all of a sudden someone said, no, we're buying, let's go. I assume that someone was Nitro?
I would hope so. If not, there's been a mutiny.
Yes. Well, no, sometimes, you know, there's players that call audibles and just say, okay.
Make her walk the plank.
Yeah.
You don't want to get mutinied. It's a bad time. So Cutlass to their backs, perhaps. But for NRG, this is where the money stops. There's only 2 rounds to play in this particular half of Counter-Strike. So Nouns hoping that they can crack them here and all but guarantee a tied scoreline. Maybe not guarantee.
No.
Make it likely. Tilt the odds in their favor. Being spotted. Util out in response, but there's not going to be a ton of this, so every bit that's drawn out early here from Nouns is valuable. PB just immediately goes through that smoke, trusting that there's no jungle presence, and he's absolutely right. So now he's found a brilliant angle. Tons of damage can be done. Bro out of play. George scurrying under that Balk. He's the next to follow, and this is commanding.
This is a... Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. Hex is making it interesting. But they do have 2 very valuable guns right now. Not a lot of access to this bomb site.
Couple of pieces of util. You got the flash, you got the smoke. Maybe you can deploy that and try to get something done. But I think that's more valuable to carry over to the next round. I think they are also agreeing with that statement. And they will fall back with the AK and the AWP. The only thing that kept them there longer, Mike, is the fact that Hex got that frag so quickly. They wanted to see maybe Nouns are going to chase, maybe they're going to make a mistake. It doesn't happen, so they're going to bring these 2 pieces in the next round. And it'll make it a lot more potent on what will be another force buy technically for them. But yeah, there's that 5th for Nouns. Great recovery on the tail end of this half. this kind of leans back to the inconsistency we talked about for NRG here on Mirage, right? They can look so good, and then all of a sudden they make interesting decisions. I think one of them being Hex pushing the smoke a couple of rounds ago, and then, you know, can't find their crosshairs all of a sudden in the duels.
They will, of course, force buy down here since you can't take it with you into the half. So they got that one AK. They've got that AWP. They're putting the AK in the hands of Bro. Selfless from Hex to give that up, but he does play B more often than not here.
Yeah, the MP9's more effective on B than it would be with Bro over on the A site.
Oh, Bro, speaking of that A site, speaking of playing Con, he's going to be able to connect some back shots onto Cryptic. And now he wants to get aggressive. That was ambitious. Momo punishes. The one AK now out of the round here.
Can it be recovered? No.
No. Seems very no. And then as Hex gets aggressive, Classy was waiting to cook something up here in the kitchen. We do have George working his way through T-spawn. Just don't know if he's going to find anybody by the time he hits, because Nitro's gone. The site is available. I guess you could catch Junior out, but yeah, the window has been missed. The opportunity lost. He's got the right idea to hold here for Momo's lurk. But eventually he'll have to move off the angle. And now he's heard. Now Momo can come out on that flank. Can distract.
He doesn't have to.
Can toy with his expectations. How do you even get out of here? You really do need George to open up some sort of window. Dodges the first shot. Takes it to the knee, rather. And now all alone, stuck between a rock and a hard place. The hard place will win. We're all knotted up as we head to the break. Second half underway here. And we are all tied up. Nouns, they did all their work at the beginning and the end. Just like me with old school assignments. You know, you did get a little start, put it down for a while, and then suddenly, oh crap, the deadline's coming up. Gotta get this thing finished out. But the end result is still 6 rounds on their T side. Sets up Nouns nicely to try and make a 3-mapper of this.
Actually, less effective on their T side than they were yesterday, NRG, when they had 7. Anyway, Glacia will get the opener onto Hext. Junior taking a lot of damage, and it looks like a bomb plant's going to come through for NRG. This is actually pretty good, and they're swinging right into the correct angle. The thing is, Junior is good for another one. Bro dropped like a heap. And George is coming right back in to retake this space, Mike.
1 HP for Junior, but 1 HP is enough to fire your gun. George, though, clearing it out here. Has control of the jungle now. And the bodies are dropping one by one. George assertive in this pistol round means NRG strike first.
That is impressive. He just found every single player. All the hiding places were exposed. George jumps up to 15 frags and leads the charge across the entire server in that category. As NRG finally back to their winning ways. And just to finish my point from earlier, right, NRG had 7 rounds on T side yesterday, but it wasn't enough purely because the first half was when they were on CT side, and they only got 3 rounds. There was a 9-3 lead for getting info. So already, at the very least, a better first half from NRG. Are on the T side again in the second half. See if they can, well, quite simply repeat the success of yesterday, because if they can, they've got a win under their belts.
Smoke on up. Nade, a little too deep to do anything about this. We got an engagement here in Con, and it is Bro who wins that out. So first piece off the board. They're stacking the numbers in the right spot. Now Junior connects a shot. That bomb needs to be retrieved. Somehow the Cap player goes unpunished, and Cryptic comes back for a kill. Wheels coming off here for NRG. Momo has somehow not affected by that Molotov, and now NRG have just totally stalled here on the apartments. OC's panicking. There's too many targets. Too many ways to turn. He knows where 2 of them are. He can get that bomb. Can he get in towards that site? That's how close Junior is. He does. Past the angle, but the Catwalk player still catches him off guard. Didn't realize Cryptic had stuck in his spot. And so it is Nouns who win the force buy here.
It's, yeah, NRG struggles in these situations are just head scratchers, honestly.
It's but classic Mirage. They just stalled out in apartments and could not get out.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Cryptic doesn't get punished too. You mentioned it, Mike. He was out in the open for so long, and none of the bullets were connecting on the NRG side from the MAC-10. So they do go for the force buy here. After losing that previous one, they got 4 techs and a deagle, but probably disappointed in themselves that they couldn't close that one out. Anything but. 3 Nouns players left alive. They got upgrades off the ground, a Galil and a MAC-10. NRG. They don't have the luxury of faking a site here. It's just got to be a straight execute. Use the util and go, and they're going to go fast. Here they come, on towards this B site. Momo waiting with the MP9, but he has to take cover here momentarily. Now he pops up and does the damage.
That bomb drop on the platform, or did it fall down?
I'm not sure, but there's still a player up there, so it's fine either way, right?
Force OC to come out of what could have been a post plant. But certainly they still need to plant the bomb on down. And Nitro's also not really in position to help out his teammates. OC connects 1. It's a long way from making this a plantable situation. Bro's creeping close up. Had the right idea. But not the headshot he required. And now OC is stuck here by the van. They know he's here, but he's going to continue to punch in headshots. He You want this bomb? Come and take it!
What?
And OC, how is he doing this? One more bullet in the gun, but now he's got support. Now he's got Nitro alongside him, and Nitro swoops in to put that one through the hoop.
Nouns didn't do anything wrong. They played that right. OC just ridiculous with the deagle. Those types of shots up close like that, the pressure on, doesn't even go for the Wandigs in that situation, just spamming the deagle and gets the headshot. At least for the last one. The other ones were precise, but my goodness. I thought Nitro needed to run a little faster and get there, but no, OC doesn't need any help. Takes care of it all himself. He's still alive too when Nitro actually does connect with the last frag. That is something else from OC. He was impressive on Train, even more so here on Mirage. And he has kept things under control for NRG on their T side, got them back to their buy-up. 2 AKs, Galil, M4 from the previous one. I think the MAC-10 might even be from the previous one too, but either way, Nouns are going to force back. That is something else. Highlight reel play.
Unreal. Nouns are going for numbers. Stacked up on A. And right now, NRG are headed their direction. You got this aggressive face from Klasia. You got a player under or on top of the Belk. And peeping on top of. You got Cryptics to support with one of those rifles. And Junior's close at hand. This could be a very dangerous setup for NRG to walk into.
It's unbelievable that they're walking into it as well, so these rounds continue to be entertaining at the very least. Klasia holding the line with the deagle. He hits the shot, then there's trouble for NRG, but he misses. So that means NRG can burst in without much challenge, but no, Cryptic actually gets one, and they're overlooking peeping entirely. I'm surprised he doesn't get a frag there. NRG are super fortunate that there's nothing that comes through from the 5-7. Now a 3v2 in their favor.
Bit of fortune, perhaps. Let's see if they can take it all the way. Answer's looking all right. Good trade onto Momo. And Junior with just a scout. Not the gun you'd love in this situation for the retake. Gonna give it a try. But needs to get on that bomb sooner rather than later. Doesn't have a kit, of course. Being as this was a force. Now his spot confirmed. Gets his hands on that rifle.
There's no time now.
But yeah, they pulled him off the bomb, and they pulled him onto his death.
Yeah, good patience there from NRG, although they almost let it slip away, right? It felt like another crazy force fire round that NRG wouldn't be able to handle. It's just peeping, missed the shots. Couldn't connect on it on balcony. Eventually, they spot him out while doing damage towards the front lines. And NRG now have to deal with the anti-eco, which they also have struggled on. So let's see if they can deal with this. Couple of deagles, 2 P250s, no body armor and no util. That's what makes things a lot more unlikely for Nouns to get this. Smoke the window as well. Ooh, Cryptic tries to come out and take a shot, misses, and then is immediately punished.
First player plucked into the A site, cleaned up. There's no resistance for this bomb plant. Maybe Momo gets one on the flank, but no. Not gonna happen. Nitro is good for that. Clean as you like for NRG. No casualties. No losses. 3-round lead up on Nouns, though the guns are coming back out for Nouns Esports.
Three M4s, 2 MP9s. And Nouns are just going to funnel down mid, it seems. There are 2 players that are jumping out the window. One stays behind, that's peeping, but Klasia is indeed taking that forward charge. Hex gets the opener on Junior, but takes a lot of damage in the process. Bro moving up, and he is caught by peeping. He was just sprinting there in underpass. Overlooked the possibility of a player doing what peeping did there. Just on the lip of that window, and numbers are even.
That they are. That they are. Seems like both sides pumping the brakes a little bit, taking some presence in towards the apartments for NRG. Cryptic's thinking about getting aggressive ramp. Certainly he's seen nothing down it, and that's enough, it seems, for Peeping to start to shift about. He's not emphasizing the A site, though. Smokes up in towards mid. How do they read this? Well, it is going to be a 2-on-2, whichever site you choose. See if they pick correctly. First player spotted. Couldn't get skinny enough behind that pillar. Now Classia here under the window. Support has come in, but support has dropped out just as quick. Classia, though, that MP9, it's lethal. Nitro gets the gun around. And so it's Nitro and OC in a 2-on-2. Both players stuck in market. OC needs to get this bomb around. He retrieved. Well, gives him a little bit more comfort on towards the plant, but Peeping's got the line. Nitro can't keep him away from that. Now there's just not enough time. Nitro has to go for elimination. He knows it. 2 seconds, 1 second would have had the opportunity, but Cryptic will be quicker on the trigger.
Yeah, that wasn't really even a full buy. I mean, it was a full investment for Nouns, but they had a couple of MP9s, but these MP9s have caused fits and starts for NRG over the past few days. I mean, oftentimes they cause fits and starts for every team, but it's just in the situations they're in. It was a 4v2. And the bodies kept on falling on the NRG side. Or, excuse me, I think it was a 4v3, but either way, there was the man advantage in there. Oh boy, so NRG still will have enough money to buy up with full util and AKs across the board, but on the other side, Nouns feels like they might be able to pull this one back a little bit. Cryptic, who has been enjoying running the AUG whenever possible as of late, will have it again here. Was using it, in fact, every single round of Nuke that I watched him play, without exception, and was exceptionally effective with it. Let's see if he can do it now from ladder room, Mike.
He's found damage with it. A dink up, but the swing in is too much to bear. So damage. No kill just yet, and Bro following that up through the smoke onto Peeping means now they're in trouble, but the bodies are on the right side. And that's the bomb, so they're fully committed in. There is no backing out for NRG. It's all Classia and too many players. He is overloaded and eliminated from the site.
George and OC are just pulling off most of the frags here in the tough situations. George with 3 critical ones, especially that last one through market window where it could have been a little more threatening. He takes care of business and finally spots out that MP9 on site. That's been their biggest difficulty when going towards B. So back and forth we continue to go. Unfortunately for Nouns, because the last couple of rounds were so expensive, they're out of money and they don't want to risk it here, which means unless things go horribly wrong for NRG, it should be a 12th.
I'm struggling to construct a scenario where this one goes wrong.
You just never know, Mike.
Mousetrap they step into, sends a bowling ball down a shelf, knocks over a stream of dominoes that are connected to a handgun pointed at OC's face right now. Not gonna happen.
No. This round is pretty much already over.
It's over. It's over. I'm comfortable to say actually over. Would give like a 0.01% chance that this turns around.
All right, now it's actually over.
0.0001% chance. You never seen this P250 ace? And you never will.
There it is, 12-8 in favor of NRG. And yeah, good smoke span from George, obviously expecting some players to be hovering around CT, so why not? It works. And they clean out the rest of the bodies afterwards. 4 rounds for NRG to close out the series and secure a spot in the grand finals of ESL Challenger League Season 49.
It's got a nice ring to it. That's got a nice ring to it. Looking for a return to the Pro League here are NRG, and they try and go for the quick hitter on towards Zay. Looking to brawl, and with the connector presence coming on through, now life gets very difficult for these players in jungle. Smokes intersection them off, going to limit their ability to do much of anything at all, so they try and play through it, and that proves to be the wrong choice. NRG looking to lock this thing down. Momo desperately raging against 4. What have you got for us, Momo? What can you do to turn this around? I'll try and creep out on the smoke. You've still got George here in middle. Even if he can duel out with the players on site, there's going to be someone to hold the bomb. And the first fight, it'll go the way of Momo. But there's just so much more. This is only the beginning. And out from Tetris, Pro will peak. And NRG confirm another 13-8 victory. The 2-0 locked in. NRG just have one more hurdle between them and a return to the ESL Pro League.
Yeah, last season it was M80 that was their hurdle, and they could not overcome it. But this season it won't be M80 because they didn't play in Challenger League. They were too busy playing in Europe and doing a bunch of other things, which is good for them. Obviously, they're in the major. They're doing quite well for themselves. But this time, NRG, of course, want another crack at making Pro League. And we'll see who their opponent will be. Could be Nouns, right?
Could be. Could be. Nouns are headed down that lower bracket. That consolidation final. They'll have a day off and play on Saturday. But we still don't know our matchup for Friday night because the Blue Jays got the forfeit loss. But Getting Info are looking to take Legacy to a third map. So that one might be going the full distance here, folks. It's getting very contested here on Ancient. So keep an eye on that. Maybe go check out the B stream if you want to see what our matchup tomorrow night is going to be. We will be live and into the server with that lower bracket round 4 matchup between Blue Jays and whoever their opponent might be. For now, it's time for us to wrap up the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Good night, and see you tomorrow for more ECL action.